Hello, welcome to the Edible Garden Company, or welcome back to the Edible Garden Company, delete as applicable. So just want to show you what we're doing here and how we're doing our beds. So we've started our first bed. Basically what we've done is we've cleared the soil and then we've put down a layer of cardboard, and it's a nice thick layer of cardboard. People often say, oh well, I've done the cardboard and I've did everything that you've said, but I'm still getting weeds growing through. So it's really important that when you put the cardboard down, you have a really good overlap. If we just come up here and have a look at the way we've overlapped this cardboard. So there's a really good overlap, which stops the weeds growing up and wiggling their way out through the cardboard. And this is packing boxes, so it's quite heavy duty cardboard. And then once we've got the cardboard down, we put the soil on. So something to remember, when you put the cardboard down and you put the compost on top, it acts like a cover or a duvet. So if the ground is cold and wet, when you put the cardboard and the compost on, it will stay cold and wet. So it's a good idea to let the ground dry out a little if it is wet and warm up a bit. The reason we can do this now is because we're in the polytunnel, so it's a bit warmer in here. So if the ground is baked dry, then you need to wet the ground before you put the cardboard on. And then when you put the cardboard on, wet the cardboard as well, because the cardboard will act like a wick and pull all the moisture out of the soil. At the moment we've only got a thin layer on here, but what we'll do when we finish this bed is we're going to put probably around 15 centimeters, maybe 20 centimeters or so of soil. So if you think of the weeds underneath, they need light to be able to grow. So when you cover them up, they'll just start sending out shoots trying to look for light. And by the time they've made their way through the cracks in the cardboard and up through 15 centimeters of compost, they've used up all the energy that's in the roots. So that they're either weak or they're not going to make it in the first place. And the weak ones are easy to deal with. You pull them out, keep pulling them out, and they'll die. So we're going to crack on with that. We're going to finish doing the cardboard on the rest of this bed, and then we'll finish covering it with compost. We're still waiting for our big delivery of compost to turn up on Monday, so it's Saturday today.
Yeah.
So a couple of days we'll have our big load of compost here and we'll be able to finish doing these. And then as you can see, we've got some stuff. This is ready to go outdoors. We've got spring onions and leeks here, ready to go into the beds outside when we get them done. But as soon as the beds in here are finished, or when this bed is finished, we'll be planting it up. We'll probably be putting in salads, or maybe we've even got time to get some I don't know, some Asian leaves in, something like that, something that's going to grow quickly.
Winter radish.
Yeah, some winter radish would be good. They grow really quickly, and then when they're out, our tomato seedlings will be big enough to come in here, and we can start putting the tomatoes and cucumbers and peppers in here. So we'll crack on with doing this bed, and we'll catch you at the end. This is us looking for my headphones. Right, now that we found my headphones again, I just wanted to show you how we're putting this cardboard down so you can get a good idea of how to do it. So it's still dry at the moment. Before we put the soil on top, we'll wet this. But you see where we go around the posts, we'll rip the cardboard to make a slit and then push the cardboard in. If I get down here and show you. So we'll do that to make sure it goes up against the wall, and then we put in another piece, just this little bit here, which came off the rip. Anything to try and keep the weeds down really. So the weeds are still going to come up through this side of the polytunnel between the plastic and the cardboard, but we can deal with that, that's not a problem. But you can see what I mean about how thickly we overlap this. There's a good few inches there, and by the time you've got your soil on about this deep, it's going to take a very determined weed to get up there. Brambles and nettles are the worst, but providing that you've got enough cardboard down, you've got enough soil on top, and you keep on top of it, like I said, they need light in the end to give themselves energy. If you don't let them have light, sooner or later the energy that's stored in their roots, which is pushing out those shoots, will just run out and they'll just wither and die. So the next thing that we have to do is I'm going to get this watered, and then we'll carry on with putting down the soil. We had actually, you can see this is here is wet. We'd kept this watered since we put it down, but the new cardboard isn't watered, but the ground underneath is damp, so we didn't need to water that, and it's quite warm as well. So as far as the duvet analogy goes, we're looking okay. Just thought we'd show you our crazy Tegwen. Typical collie, she's got to round everything up, even water. The reason that we water the compost is because, again, it acts like a wick. So it'll actually pull the water or the moisture out from the cardboard, and just as it gets warm in here, it'll just dry everything out. Okay, we've done as much as we can. So we've put the cardboard down and we've put the compost on top, and we've got, like I say, as far as we can, we've run out now, so we're just waiting for our new compost to turn up. And we've watered the compost because, again, it acts like a wick, the same as the cardboard does. And with the heat in here, what will happen is the water will be sucked out of the cardboard and just come out into the air. The other thing that it does is it starts any biological activity happening within the compost once it gets, now it's warm and wet. I also wanted to point out that before anybody makes a comment that, oh, you're using last year's compost out of pots, it's not going to have any nutrients in it. We're not using this as compost, we're using it just as a growing medium. So this gives us something to plant into, but we will be top dressing this with fresh compost. But the good thing about this is, because it was used last year, what we do is when we crop everything at the end of the year, we literally just cut it just above the soil, so the pots are just full of roots, and they've started to rot down over the winter. So this is now full of all sorts of roots, worms, bacteria. There's some really good ecosystem going on inside this compost at the moment. So it's like a starter compost for the new compost that comes in. So I just wanted to point that out before we get comments. So I think that's about it really, until we get our next lot of compost and we can finish this off. And we'll start planting this up next week. So thank you for watching, and remember, like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe, because it really helps us.